Hello there and welcome to my nest. This is Kate and I'm actually home in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales after the most amazing time in Melbourne. I have to say right from the outset that I am giddy with excitement. I am still on that high of adrenaline that I hope you all know what I'm talking about, that when you have been able to be immersed in a creative environment, and I know not all of us can, but I want to just share my joy with you. I have literally not unpacked those those things like clothes and other things because my priority has been to get down to my nest, into my studio, and to start making again. And on top of all of that I arrived home. It's Wednesday morning here, the sun's shining, so it's gorgeous. I arrived home Monday night, and then I got up yesterday and went straight to the green door because it was an open studio day. So that was absolutely packed to the rafters. So it was almost like I had a day of traveling between leaving the creatives of Melbourne and Fleur, and then being with Zoe and the crew in Robertson. So probably I'm a little bit husky because you just have to excuse that because I've been chatting, laughing, making, and yeah, I probably need to calm down a little bit and get my thoughts in order. So I suppose this little check-in is to say, number one, I'm home, and to start sharing with you some of my makings and some of the things that I learned from Fleur and from others in the workshop. So I'll take a deep breath and say, first of all, how are you? I really hope you're well. And as always, I'm sharing my excitement with you because I know we all love our making, whether it's stitching or crocheting or just watching. And this is to the community of makers. I will have no qualms in saying my life has been changed by going to my first ever Fleur Woods workshop. I'd had the book and I showed you that. And you know, the beauty of having inspiration and then actually having the time to be in the moment is that my work doesn't look like Fleur's, but being in that atmosphere has already seeped into my stitching. I've showed you quite a number of the resources that she gave us, but I shouldn't say but, I should say and, the thing that is always going to sit on my studio bench now is this postcard, and I may have showed you before, but for me, this really spoke to me because I've realized that Fleur's work, I'll come up really close, and I've got photos as well, but I'm not clever enough to show you them on a video yet, but I will on Instagram. That Fleur's work is so incredibly detailed. And my awakening was that there is not a single bit of her linen or her wool that is not stitched or embellished. So that is truly a treasure beyond treasure. It is very different to my work. So if I, pick up my horsewhip or something like that, that's probably not a great example. Or this one, I have lots of pieces, but I still have spaces and not everything is stitched. So that's something that I'm really going to think about, and I've already started a next little piece where I'm going to endeavour to cover every single little bit of the fabric. So I don't know where to start with you, and truly I don't know how far I got in showing you my makings. So apologies if this is repetitive, but this is where my pouch finished up on Sunday afternoon on day 3. I think I've shared some of the makings with you. I will always talk to you and you can talk to me about, this is Kate's first ever fully embroidered flower without an existing embroidery underneath it. So those were the ones, and I continued to embellish more. These are big flowers, and they're starting to all join together. And remember, this is a voile, which I did have some of, and now I'm in such a mess when it pops up. It's a voile. It's very thin, and what I did was I took the voile that already had an existing pattern on it, and then I have drawn flowers over the top and traced them, actually. So Fleur was wonderful in sharing that insight in my life. You know, I feel so much more confident about making flowers. You might be looking at this trim. Maddie, the artist whose studio we were in, which I think is called Look Studios, came across to me on Sunday morning and just dropped this and said, I think it belongs on your work. So I immediately stopped embroidering and put that there, and that's going to be a forever reminder of the joy of that creative space. Madeline is just an amazing artist, and her work is all around the walls. So that's Madeline Stamer. You saw this little fringe, but so that's just a little pouch of joy that tingles. And I think someone told me that these were seed pearls as well as the calories. So I took that out to the Green Joy yesterday with my threads in it. And Fleur was incredibly generous, and she said she didn't want to take her threads across the ditch with her, so I've got additional cottons to be using. So that's the pouch. The little funny wallet purse, I think, is probably the most developed since I last filmed. I've got little bits of the fringe all over this. So this piece just feels the perfect size in my hand. And if you have seen my other videos, the reason it started was that I found this little purse in a Vinnie's. There's a piece, oh, that's from Christina. I've got so much to share. I got gifts from Christina of Christina Creates, and also from Christine of Create and Craft with Christine, or Craft and Create, whichever way she will understand. So I've got some little treasures in there, but the whole idea was that I wanted to use these colours, and ironically my Melbourne trip ended up with sort of an Indian and exotic influence. And of course I've shown you that. That's quirky little parrot zipper. But if I go in detail to what I've done since, I'm getting more confident. I should cut those. Excuse me as I just do a little bit of trimming. More confident in my use of wild bright stitches and French knots. I think I've done that. The most work, and what I love, is that I used one of those beautiful Indian trims from Marigold Interiors, and I'm going to talk more about their trims in a little while. In fact, they call them braids. So if you go onto their website, keep going through all the pages, because they are an interior shop, but they have braids, and they're selling them for $7.95 Australian, which is incredibly well priced, I think. So I put one there. I had some of my little shells left over, so it's becoming a little collection, the Melbourne collection. So they all go with each other. I do have a little bit of this left over, but I'm not sure if I'll use that. And on the last, in the afternoon on the Sunday, I did pull Fleur over, because I'd used this applique that I bought from Salvo's in St Kilda, and I've started to work it, but I was left, I don't know whether you can see it, just this pale pink under here that was just not sitting right with me, and it looked too obvious. So Fleur came over and we just brainstormed what to do about that. And just by talking out loud with someone, we solved, or we resolved, I suppose is better a word, because it's still a work in progress. But she had this little bit of crochet doily. Look at this. This is pure Kate. And I just stitched it over the top and then did these French knots. And I am just thrilled with that. So I've got some of these woolly rosy twirly whirly flowers. I'm liking this bit. I stitched, and I'm getting better with the split back stitch on those petals. So there's lots of things still to go. And then the last thing is, because I'm feeling more confident, I'm going over the floral painting with so far some lazy daisies, but they will end up being multi-layered flowers like these ones. So that's probably where I'm up to on those two pieces, and I won't do a lot more for the moment because of course I've got so many ideas to move along with. So I'm going to share, and please remember this is not a tutorial, this is Kate being the learner. So my epiphany was that you can trace flowers out of any botanical books. And oh yeah, this is the one that I used for the daisies, literally tracing paper over the top. And so I have all these flower books that I use in my journals, and I suddenly went, oh my gosh, I have everything I need. And you know, my petal books, all of that. So in terms of florals, and also there's access on, people were looking them up on their phones and on the internet. I mean, we can go crazy, everyone. We have Fleur's flowers in our hands. So this is probably, I've lost the postcard already. I think I'm attracted to this type of flower, first of all, because it's just got 5 petals, and I'm learning about outlining and long and short stitch. So this one actually has got more than 5 petals, but I'm going to show you if I was starting out now. Remember, Kate's the novice. But let's take a little bit of Fleur's linen. Let's do a green one because it will probably come out well. So this is, Fleur gave us little bits to practice on, and I've done lots of flowers on this bit, and they are all underneath these ones. Okay, so there's the green and the pink linen. So I'm still appliquing. I'm not yet going freehand, but I know you'll understand me. So flower, this was what I would call the absolute breakthrough. And I'd never thought of this. I've watched so many wonderful stitches being able to freehand and use light boxes. But for me, this is what I will do. This is carbon paper, old-fashioned carbon paper. And it's ripped and torn on my way home from in the plane in my bag. And the only thing you need to remember is the top is the one with the writing, and the ink will come through. So here's that on that. Here's the little flower that I've already used lots and lots of times. Now Fleur would be advising us to washi tape that down or use clips so it doesn't move. But you know, Kate, I'm in too much of a hurry. Fleur suggested you use a red or a different coloured pen just so you can see where you've traced. And really, you just go round the outline. I better just have a check that that's coming out. Yep, because that would be embarrassing and very Kate. But my idea is, as I go on and stitch more and more using the things I've learned, that I'll just share along the way, because a number of you said that you don't have access, you haven't got the book yet. Fleur was delighted to point out that it was in public libraries now, and so if you can't have access, ask your library to get it in. So voila, let's hope. Yes. So I'll just stand up again to show you how clear. Got sunshine now in my room, which is wonderful. So just that outline is enough for me to have confidence to start stitching. And then if I wanted more and more of those, you can build up a composition. And so I have brought home with me some sketchings of different flowers. And there's the daisy. So I actually did this a couple of times just to practice. And this one probably, let's do that one as well. Let's do it on a, yeah, it doesn't matter what colour for me, because I'm going to stitch over the top anyway. So another little bit of carbon. So there's the flower. I think some people were surprised that I hadn't thought about this. And it was, I suppose, I just thought I had to be able to draw them. And because I haven't taken the time to do that, that's why I've been using embroidered flowers, which I absolutely love. But I think now I will love to use a combination of each. Now, there were lots more details on this flower, but I sort of just simplified it. And just by going over the tracing, I'm starting to feel how flowers are made. Ta-da! Yep, there we go. So as simple as that. Now, Fleur also gave us a hoop, and many use their hoops. Of course, Kate did, and I'll share what I'll do with that in a minute. So I hope that's already a little insight. For many of you, you've probably been doing that for years, but for Kate, that was an epiphany. Okay, you may need to put your sunglasses on, because yesterday at Green Door, it was like a reunion of so many of us, and you know, we've been missing Missy. Actually, a shout out to Missy made this, because she's missed the last two, and it was, you know, packed. And we often swap things. The beautiful Virginia has been in New Zealand, and she bought some fluoros with Missy and I think in mine particularly. So while I was there, I thought I'm just going to start. So I'm going to make this into my first, where's my postcard gone? Because it's small enough, my first ever completely covered needlebook. And all I'm going to do, and the influence was Fleur. She's got this one that she's made, I mean, beyond, nothing like mine. But this is just going to be the blanket, dense embroidery. Open up. I will probably line it with some linen and then put some blanket for my needles. And it won't need a closure because it's just going to sit straight. So that will be the final piece of my Melbourne collection. So why am I telling you this? I started work yesterday out at the green door with the Fluoro first, because I haven't used that, and that's always my idea. And I don't know whether you can see, I've actually got some of the petals left under there. So with that, I have been just raving on, and I'm going to pick up a needle and actually do something. Let's do it over here where you can see it. Where am I going to do it? I don't know. So Fleur did say she goes from the center of a petal. And I know, I'll pin it for you. A number of you will be worrying about that curling up on me. But by the end, it will be, where is it? Totally buried under there. See my little French knots? They're starting. Oh, and I tried turkey stitch. I'm not a natural at turkey stitch. I need to tell you that. It's the only way to quieten Kate down is to get her stitching. I'm so thinking of you all. Welcome to my new subscribers. That has been absolutely wonderful. And I know that Fleur is an incredible influence in that. So I do hope that you know that I will count Fleur as an incredible influence in my stitchy life going forward. There were some people at the retreat who'd been to Fleur's, all of her workshops, as many as they could in the last couple of years. So she is someone that I think it's just not a one-off. You can learn so much every single time just by being in the room with her. She's so quiet and respectful and inspiring and funny. So absolutely perfect person to be around. So here I go, just doing long stitches because I haven't yet mastered the long and the short in the same stitch. I don't think I will ever get to that perfect level of neatness, but I do feel so freed to at least start trying to be stitching my own flowers. I've already decided one of my favorite things is to leave space and then come back with a different color. So I do understand how people say it's thread painting or painting with thread. And as you know, part of part of me is I don't like, I can't stay on one thing for too long. So now that I've done this color around here, I will leave this flower and show you something else I have in mind. And I have to be careful of the length of the video because I'm so happy. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'd probably stay here for an hour. Well, that was one bridge too far. One stitch too far, Gabe. Pull that out. Can't even find where I am. The other new thing for me is I'm using cotton because that's what Fleur bought us. And you would know that I like wool. And so I'm liking this because I understand now how you can do the split back stitch. more easily. Okay, I wanted to show you one more thing that I have in mind. And of course oh, here we go. I'm totally in love with these braids, and one of my ideas is that I want to start harvesting some. Sorry, I'm just thinking I've got another one that might be easier to show you first. Yeah, this one. Harvesting some individual flowers, because I can't leave my love of applique behind. Imagine how many flowers you can get for $7.95. Let's just have those little tiny. So you don't have to have, you just go and look in your stash and see if you've got existing braids already in your house, and I think these are a good oppie. So I'm just going to, well, who knows? I'm thinking this will be the front of my needlebook, and I've got this darker plum here, and then I've got the fluoro, and using my flower to flower, leaf to leaf rule, I'm going to put a pin in here, and you can see that these little tiny, what would we call those? Let's be honest and just call them circles, are going to pick up the green of around here. Now, I honestly can't see how long I've been on, and now my battery is showing it's running out. So that's the sign for Kate. So I'm going to continue. Please keep watching me if you're enjoying this. It's going to be how you can absorb influence and be inspired to be you. As I said, when I, oh, look at this one. This was my pouch when I headed off my garden that I absolutely love. Here's my postcard from Fleur. But what is happening is, that's my threads in there, each one of these projects is, I think, still me, and that's what I want to encourage you. Just do you, be free, have fun, and create some collections. So there we are. Oh, nearly knocked everything over. So until next time, I'll be back as in the blink of an eye, because I have to feel like I can catch up. This is Kate in the Nest saying, keep well. I'm sending all my blessings to you. Thanks for being with me. Bye.